I want us to go into barriers to effective communication. The first thing I want us to understand, so I will be speaking from the same level of knowledge based on what I've done in the last session. Tell me, what is your understanding of effective communication? When is communication effective?
When there is a feedback.
Good. When there is a feedback. Okay. Don't forget, the feedback means you are receiving information which is in line with the expected, which is in line with your expectation. For instance, when you are doing public speaking, some of the feedback may just be that people are nodding, people are saying yes, or people are writing voraciously as you are speaking. It may be a feedback that they are understanding what you are saying. It may be a feedback that they agree with what you are saying. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. And for instance, when you have a village meeting and all that, and you send out information to people and no one shows up, what feedback is that telling you?
It's a barrier. It's a poor feedback.
Okay.
Probably.
Probably what?
It's possible no understanding.
One, no understanding. What else? No, what else? Sometimes they may be using their body language to tell you exactly a particular thing that they are not interested.
Mm. Yes.
Or they may be using their body language also to tell that they are not. It's not only that they are not interested, but that they don't trust the person passing the information. So, and that's what communication, I told you, is so important. I said it is the glue or cement that holds together the management of your entire control of your HR life cycle. So you must painstakingly ask the why. If they did not show up, go a step further, go to their decks. You saw this. Please, why didn't you respond? I want to know, did I communicate well? Is there a problem? So, the solution to poor communication is effective communication. You go a step further. Maybe the words I used were misconstrued. Maybe I didn't give sufficient information. Just said there will be TGIF, and they assumed that TGIF is all on Fridays because that is when you used to do it before. But this particular TGIF, you wanted it for a Saturday, where people will also come, with their family members, even though you had in mind a great plan, but because you didn't carry them along or it was not clear to them. So these are some of the barriers. What other barriers do you think we can have to effective communication?
Emotional barriers.
Good, very good. Emotional. Explain it. Explain how that can be a barrier.
Immaturity. I don't know how.
All right.
Maybe yes. Then people who let their emotions take over their mindset. Maybe I don't know how to explain.
Okay, let me explain to you. It's a good.
Let me say you have an issue with a particular colleague, and it can hinder effective communication.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. You see, when the emotional barrier happens, when people are not able to separate person from problem.
Person from problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a challenge, there's a business challenge and all that, but the person has hurt you and all that. There is a greater goal beyond the person that hurt you, and that's the organizational objective beyond you. You don't need to like a person before you can work with him on a team. Hello?
Yes, I hear, sir.
You don't need to be friends, even though that will help even seamless achievement. But I mean, you don't need to be friends, because when we talk about virtual teams, I've talked about matrix teams, for instance, where people from various departments are put together and all that. Maybe you didn't even know each other before. Or virtual teams where, someone from Singapore, someone from Chicago, someone from Australia, someone from Nigeria, they are put together on a team. And you have to deliver on a project in 2 weeks. You don't need to be, all you are concerned about is what is the target, what's the goal, what's my part, how do I kill, and all of it. So you must understand that when you are not able to separate person from problem, you have psychological roadblock. There are several ways to overcome that, if particularly is a very close, small team like yours. I do, emphasize that you must be emotionally intelligent enough as to, as much as possible, also quickly resolve such lingering problems that can hinder productivity. Because don't forget, the goal of the organization and the mission of the organization is much more important than personal squabbles and challenges. Okay, and that's where also you, the HR person, comes in. You are the business partner. You can feel the pulse. You can know what is going on. Okay, quickly help even as the internal mediator. You want to quickly help resolve such as much as possible. However, that said, you must understand that the organizational goals, vision, and objectives, they are much more important than individual differences or personal squabbles. Is that okay?
Yes.
Another thing that can be emotional barrier will be, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
There is a lot of background noise.
Yes, no, someone just walked in, but
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay. All right. Now, you can also have emotional barriers which can lead to prejudice in judgments, making judgments. For instance, if you are someone at an interview, you think everyone that will be a salesperson must be someone who is an extrovert. You already have a prejudice in terms of the pen portrait of the person who will be a good salesman. But it doesn't mean that someone who is an introvert, who does not speak a lot unless there is a reason to speak, it doesn't mean that that person may not be a good salesperson. So if you are emotionally close to your mind, because you are working by what we call profiling, you are just using pure profiling to profile the kind of person you think is a good salesman. You will have excluded even that potential introvert who may be an exceptional salesman. So you must be careful. So the emotionality as a barrier may also lead to wrong profiling, may lead to also prejudice in decision making, may lead to also you not being fair and consistent as an HR person. There are critical things you must understand as an HR person. You must be fair, you must be firm, and you must be consistent. I repeat it, FFC. FFC. You must be fair, you must be firm, and you must be consistent. These three things are frustrated when you are emotional about your decisions. And so it affects how you communicate also. You'll find that your communication to different people will be different. Your interpretation of the policy for different people will be different. And that is against the ethics of your profession as an HR person. So several things, internal, external, and all that, can affect personal can affect effective communication. Do you all even understand that what people are going through, their internal state, even though it is a little bit also linked to emotional, but internal state in terms of maybe due to ill health, maybe due to challenges on their own front. Some have not managed themselves very well, and they use it, they bring it still to the place of work, and it disturbs their performance, and it disturbs also even what they think they are hearing around them. It influences how they are irritable and they are reacting. So there are some personal things that you as line manager, you as HR person must help people to unravel so that they know this is why you are doing this, and they can take charge of themselves. There are some physical things that can also frustrate effective communication. Physical things like infrastructures. If you don't have the right, okay, go ahead.
Technology.
Technology.
Yes, you said that right there.
Technology, very good. Technology, it can hinder effective communication. And if you have the right ones, it can promote effective communication. So I'm saying there are some things personal, okay? There are some things internal, there are some things, social because of relationship, that's the emotional relationship. There are some things infrastructural, okay, that can hinder effective communication. Part of the structural thing may be also because in that environment, the leadership style is one that encourages fear. Okay. You may find out that people will not give you, don't forget, effective communication is about giving you the intended feedback, isn't it? As to move the organization forward. So if it's an environment of fear, then people will be pretending. You will give instruction. When you are around, people will do as if they are walking. But once you're not around, people settle back into their docile because you see, they're only working under fear. They're not motivated. And so the effective feedback, the effective actions are not sustainable when you're not around. So these are some of the things. Thank you. Good discussion. But generally, I just put some other things here. Language, when the language is inappropriate, when the language in terms of level is above or below, it might be a barrier. Cultural diversity. I've told you about the Indian and the Nigerian. How we interpret body languages are different. Gender differences. Sometimes how the male and the female counterparts interpret things are different. Okay? And so you must understand who you are speaking to and all that, and use the right nuances that conveys the right message. Sometimes status. The way even those in management understand some things are different from how the people in the other ranks understand things. The way the rich people think are different from the way the poor people think. So who are you addressing? Who are you communicating to? Are you using the right graphics, right pictures? In the status or in the culture you are speaking to, is that graphic offensive? Is it endearing to them? On all that. Another thing that can be a barrier to effective communication, it is not well managed, is physical separation. And why? Don't forget, when you are seeing each other physically, it is easier to reinforce communication with your body language.
Yes.
All right. But body language is not there when it is virtual, except you are doing conferencing and you can see pictures and you can, like Zoom conferencing, and you open your video and all that. But even with that, it is not as strong an effective communication as the physical. So if therefore it is impossible to have physical interaction when you're communicating, amplify with video so that at least you'll be able to have higher level of effectiveness. And that's what we talk about. And beyond that, let it be engaging. You will find out I ask you some questions. I allow you to talk. Because it is possible people are listening on Zoom and they are doing other things. They are frying to do. It is possible that they just left their Zoom opened and you think they are in the webinar and they are not there. Yes. So you must encourage engagement as you speak, particularly for virtual meetings, virtual communication. I know. So these are some of the ways in which you'll be able to improve on the effectiveness of communication.
Mm.
For language, please don't forget, let your language be simple enough. The intention of communication is not to show how big grammar you can speak. It's not to show how intelligent you are. It's not to impress anyone. It's to pass across a message that will bring about a desired result. If the desired result will be frustrated by your big grammar, please throw it out. That means the audience cannot chew and cannot absorb, cannot assimilate that which you're saying. However, if you are amongst your colleagues, professors and all that, you can throw that down and all of them understand. That's okay. Okay? So these are some of the barriers.
Can't hear anything.
Sorry?
Hello? I stopped at that means the audience cannot chew. The thing just went blank from there.
Okay, all right. Okay. I said, if what you are serving your audience based on the level of language you are using to communicate, if the audience cannot chew, I'm using figuratively, if they cannot chew the language or the words, they cannot assimilate it, they cannot digest it because the words are too big for their mouth. I'm using the allegory of a baby that you are feeding. You have a baby, at the level they will be taking milk. At the level they can take meat if you first of all maybe grind the meat for them. All right. At the level yes. they can themselves chew the meat, and at the level they can eat bones. All of these things are nutrients, but it will be dangerous for you to give meat to a baby who needs milk. It's waste, stage of resource, wasted of effort, and also it's doing the baby no good. Your intention is to give nutrient to the baby, but the baby is not enjoying. So that's what I'm saying. The language must be appropriate. Your big grammar, serve your big grammar to the audience that can understand it and that can flow easily with it. Because sometimes also to those top-rated audience, if you speak in benign, I mean, so small pedestrian language, they may think that you are wasting their time. But if you use such pedestrian language to street guys, to the uneducated, they will be happy that you are speaking their language. So you understand that. So don't forget the intention of your language choice in communication is always to achieve effectiveness with the audience. And that's why demographics analysis is very important. Are we together?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay.